right, guys, we're back for episode 7.
Here we are. We're back. We've had a long weekend.
It's been an eventful weekend. We're going to be talking about Invest Fest.
Yeah.
So hang on to your boots.
That's one.
It's me. It's me. Yeah. I mean, look, we can just go straight into it. But first, like, subscribe, follow. Please Hold Podcast. You can find us on all your wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. So please follow us. So we just wanted to get that out the way.
Yes, please. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead and
subscribe. Click the button.
Click
the button. Okay.
Okay. You know you like us. All right, cool. Yeah, so I mean, let's just get into it. And by no means, I do not want this to be a bash fest on Invest Fest. Okay.
Yes.
This is not that. So let's be very clear. I am going to do pros, cons, things I loved, things I thought that they're like areas of opportunity, and things that I thought like, maybe didn't think about that all the way through.
Okay.
And another disclaimer, I am no person that puts on events. I am a consumer. This is coming from a consumer point of view. Okay. This is not somebody who's like, oh, I've done put on an event. I've thrown an event and 20,000 people have came. No. So this is coming strictly from a consumer, somebody who I bought my ticket. Okay. I bought my ticket. I didn't get nobody's free ticket. I didn't come with a friend. I got I slipped through. No, I bought my ticket as a consumer. So y'all got my money.
What kind of ticket did you get?
A general admission ticket.
Got it.
Yeah. So a general admission ticket.
Well, just for the people who don't know what Invest Fest is, one, we're here in Atlanta. Invest Fest, this is their 3rd year. Yes. So still infancy stage, like lots to grow and learn and improve, like everything. Like Beyonce's concert even had hiccups. So like no one's event's ever going to be perfect and everything is going to have room for improvement. Be like, oh, I would have liked to see this instead of this or what have you. So, I mean, just for people, I mean, Ashley, you want to tell them like what Invest Fest really is?
So,
from your point of view.
From my point of view, right. Invest Fest is some people were calling it a conference. Some people are calling it a pop-up event. But if you've been to an Afrotech, something similar to that, group of panels, a group of panelists in different rooms, if you've ever been to a conference, but they had different topics. Real estate, they had, obviously talking about investing, whether that's around Bitcoin or, Web3, AI. And so they had different topics throughout. And one of the cool things I thought that I liked was they also had like the expo downstairs, right? Those were all Black like vendors, Black small businesses were there to be able to kind of promote what their business was, be able to kind of also make a profit. So that is kind of in the very small premise of like what Invest Fest is. If you haven't been, like you said, it's like through their 3rd year and it's something to check out. So
Definitely.
Something to check out. But like I said, want to go through the pros, go through the cons, and talk about the things that moments of opportunity, because I think that there always is. No event is perfect. And I think you have to understand that like there's going to be stuff that's like going on behind the scenes that people are never going to see. Right. There's always going to be challenges with any event that you put on. But yeah, so I mean, I'll start if you want me to start.
Yeah, rock and roll.
Okay. So one, I think I didn't go for registration on Friday, right? But so I went on Saturday, probably like afternoon is when we went, right?
Yeah.
So Saturday afternoon, I think each day it started at 9:00.
Yeah, I believe so.
8 or 9 a.m. So they start off early. They have like a whole list of people that are going to be speaking on a specific topic throughout the day. What automatically like caught my eye was the fact that there was a really like bad, like not bad, but just like unorganized portion of like registration and getting through, right? So it kind of like bottlenecked. Like you had two lines running. One was a line to like get your wristband. So if you didn't get your wristband, I guess on Friday, that's where the line you stood in. So we stood in that line, right?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't
terrible. I mean,
it wasn't
pretty
terrible.
fast.
Yeah. We'll talk about the line that went.
Oh, yeah.
That took forever. Okay. We're going to talk about the line that took forever. So the line to get your wristband wasn't bad. It was moving pretty quickly. You showed you told them your name. They gave you your wristband. You moved on. Blah, blah, blah. Then you had to get out of that line. Once you were done, then you had to get into another line, which I was like, by the time we got to that line, it was short. It was really short. So it wasn't too bad. But I thought that the process, like, I don't know, being in the digital age, I would have thought, okay, hey, I come through the door, I scan my thing, somebody gives me a wristband. Yeah. Boom, done. I don't maybe there's a line for VIP. If you know you're in VIP, you go and get your wristband, boom, done. You're already in. Like, we're not having to go into two separate lines to go into get in there. So if anybody has ever been in the Georgia World Congress Center, it's a huge venue. The venue is so big. And so there's a distance you've got to walk, right? You've got to go down an escalator, walk some more, go down another escalator, walk like some more, and then go down another escalator. Like, you're going down several, floors, just to kind of get to the gallery room where you're going to be at.
Yeah. But that's that's just kind of like, that's just the conference areas. Like, so that's not really InvestFest.
No, it's not InvestFest issue, but I think that there could have been when different ways for them having people there to direct the flow of traffic, because a lot of it bottlenecked pretty quickly. And with having so many people, I think they said they had 20,000 people.
Yeah, which, first of all, big ups to them. Like I said, we don't do events. So I know that you guys, they put a lot of money into it and a lot of time and, even organizing something that big. So yeah, big ups to bringing in 20,000, because some of y'all out here can't even get your friends to come to your birthday party. So that's a big thing.
Well, yes. And for big shout out to Earn Your Leisure. I don't know them from Amity, but I'm it's a huge feat to get 20,000 people in the door. And so I was like, oh, that's a little bit. It's the one thing that really bothered me was when it was lunchtime and we went to the food hall, right? So there was two places that you had options of going to go grab food. One was in this other gallery area, and they had some small vendors.
Yeah, they had choices, 6 vendors on each side, typical food, pizza, Philly cheesesteak, empanadas, nachos, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But those lines were, I would say there was, give or take, 60 people in each line going down each way. So it's you didn't know whose line ended and whose lines began. Yeah. It's they all met in the middle, but then also kind of met on the sides of each other. So it's are you in the line for that one or that one? Which was, I think we stood in line for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
But we didn't, but before we made that decision, we took another journey through another exhibit out to go find the food trucks.
Oh, girl.
And so we opened the door, and first of all, it's been blazing hot out here in Atlanta. So we opened the door to where the food trucks are outside, and it was the sun was hibernating right there.
Yeah. On top of Walking Dead. It looked like there's a sea of people, and then sprinkled in with food trucks, and it was so hot. We didn't even attempt to try to go out there. It was
so we just turned around, walked back. It was just forget it. We're hungry. So we're just going to stay in this line, and then end up standing in the food line for about an hour and a half. So it was we got there at 1, and we finally got our food at 3:30, 3:45.
Yeah.
So it was a good bit. I mean, just to get through, because you have to walk through the vendors hall first and go through the vendors first and then get to the food area. So like, I think I like saw somebody post like how it was like that was really cruel to do this, like to put the food so far away when you have this many people and like not even like saying, hey, we're gonna stagger or what have you. I mean, it's not exactly a conference, so it's like not everybody is sitting in on one thing at one time and then all break out. But I think that could be improved, but I think something they haven't done something this large before like that of 20,000 people. So of course you're always, you can always do your takeaways and, my suggestion on food would be, you're not there for the food. This is not Food Fest. This is Invest Fest. So
no,
have like
not.
sandwiches and prepared food ready to go, chips and stuff. And like, if you're really that hungry, you got a wristband. Go get your own food somewhere else and come back. I mean,
I totally agree, but okay, it's an all day thing. It's from 8 a.m. until 6, right? That's a long time. And if you have a break in between, right? And they had a break in between where it's like, hey, this is like your lunchtime, like, and that you have that many people, it's not a surprise that many people showed up. That's how many people bought tickets. Like, it's not a surprise. Like, you knew that many people were going to come. That's how many people you were anticipating on coming. Now, a few thousand people may have dropped out, right? But no, those are the people that came over the course of those 2 days. So if people, like providing options, I think that there should have been enough options for the amount of people that were there, right? Anticipating that you're going to have 20,000 people, you should have sufficient resources. Now, one of the things that I did not see and that I had read was that like there were no water stations for 20,000 people. It's hot. It's August in Atlanta. Like,
absolutely.
I'm sweating just coming down the escalator and I did no work. Like, it's like there was like pockets of left. I was like, oh my God, like where is the air conditioning? Let me just get to a cool spot because it's really hot. And there was no water stations. For me, especially when you're obviously walking from one distance to another, this is a very large, extremely large venue. So even if there was two places inside the venue of where you could actually like, upstairs where it was like the smoothing of the nuts. And then there's like other place like catty corner from it. I don't know what they were serving.
I think they're just like bottled water and like soft drinks and chips.
Yeah. So it's like, I think there's ample opportunity to be like, hey, we're renting out this facility for this portion. Let's just make sure that we also have vendors upstairs that,
Yeah. I mean, vendors upstairs and then probably in that main like hallway where people, could choose to go to which stage would have been helpful for sure. I mean, because even the line to get some nuts was nuts.
Boom, boom. Yes.
So it's just like, definitely like just areas of like you could have those big things of water and people could just get like a cup of water and keep it moving. That would have been better. And I think accessibility for people with disabilities,
I
think there was like one elevator, so like if you did have a disability, you weren't able to make it down the escalators, which was pretty much, or the stairs, which was pretty much the only ways to get down towards the stage. And there wasn't any other area. So like there is a viewing area above the stages, but those were closed off and curtained off. So, and there was no speakers. So if you were a person who had a disability in which you could not go down the stairs or escalator, that was pretty much your area to sit in. And that was not even like available. And that's really disappointing because now you're lacking in, being inclusive. So, not everybody who has, a business, is, may not have a disability. So it's like you have to be very inclusive and intentional when you're doing things like that. It's like, what are we checking all the boxes? And I think me and Nick had a conversation last night, and it was like you could definitely tell, and it was shown on there was a big wall of all the people who were one, the people who were in charge and who put on this event, and then all the people who were like the speakers and guests that were a part of the event, and all the people that led this entire thing were men, and you could tell. And if there was a woman involved, they didn't listen to her. And if she was involved, then she probably didn't get some good advice.
Right.
So I don't know who's in the ins and outs of everything, but you could tell, like, hey, like this really looked like there was like no women involved, and like, hey, let's make sure that when people feel like they're getting the value for their money. And
right.
I think that the value for 300, 800, or 500, 1500, 1800, whatever, 18,000. I don't. Maybe for those people, then 18,000 for VIP platinum
was
lifetime.
Was it 18,000 or 13,000? I think it was
18.
Like 18.
It was 18,000. I looked at it again this morning.
Oh, okay.
So it was a $300 ticket.
Right.
And then there was a $1,500 ticket. No, I'm sorry, $1,800 ticket. And then there was
$5,000.
A $5,000 ticket. And then there was an $18,000 ticket. So 18,000 was like platinum forever for your lifetime, that you're going to be able to have access wherever InvestFest goes for your entire lifetime. You're going to be able to go to it forever.
Okay. So I want to take some time to really talk about the pricing, right? Like everything else is fixable, right? You didn't got no water stations. Next time you're going to have water stations. You didn't have a lot of
partner
vendors.
Get a sponsor or something, please.
Right. Yeah. Like whatever. And you didn't have enough food for people, then you can fix that next year. But what I think really like bothers me the most about this is that earn your leisure. Your premise is teaching people good financial habits, right? How to grow their money, how to invest their money, how to keep their money, and how to maintain having good financial habits and the knowledge around it, right? I totally get it. Like, oh, well, you're paying $300. You're in a room full of like-minded people. Well, I can find rooms full of like-minded people for less than $300. So there's that. Like, there's plenty of things going on in the city of Atlanta and other cities that I don't have to pay $300 to be in a room with the same, like-minded people. And
definitely not 5,000 or 18,000 either.
Yeah. So like that's my thing is like, if your premise is that we're teaching people financial literacy, we want you to invest your money. We want you to make smart money decisions, right? Is it a smart money decision? $300. All right, cool. Bet, whatever. It is what it is.
That's Music Midtown.
Right. You're going to spend that on a ticket, somebody's Beyonce, Drake, whatever ticket. But $5,000. I really want to know, besides the point of me saying, oh man, I made a great networking. What else am I getting? Or walking away with like, I feel energized. That's going to wear off in like 2 to 3 days, right? Like that's done. What else besides that am I getting? Because when I walked through the door, I didn't get a packet saying, okay, here is a, granted now I bought a $300 ticket, so whatever. Like, but even for my $300 ticket, I didn't get a little packet that like a folder with like a little journal, a pen. I'm going to earn your leisure pen. Something that says like, oh, here's an action plan. Like here's like to do the next step, something that has like an outline. Some people just really actually need that extra step and to help them guide them along the way.
And it makes you feel like you get something for your money. I mean, I just like a side note, like I've worked for a marketing company for one of the largest distributors in the world, and people love stuff, things. Yes. They will a t-shirt, a pen, a napkin, they don't care. They just want it. And so like especially when we're registering for something, to have like just a notebook and a pen, like, okay, hey, we are 300 or 18,000, whoever you are, everyone's getting a notebook, make sure you take your notes, write down these contacts or, whatever, write down an idea that you may have come across or what have you. So like, this is the time that you're investing in yourself,
right? And
to take it seriously. And so think little things like that. Like the only, thing with I left with was a bracelet.
Oh, right, yeah.
And that was it. Or yeah, like a wristband. So, you know, just as a side note, like people like things and people just want to feel like it came with my ticket. It, you know, it came with it, like just those kind of things. It goes a long ways, believe it or not.
It does. And I mean, my thing is that I don't think anything is worth $18,000.
Maybe a car.
A car. But even when you drive your car off the lot, like it depreciates. I'm walking outside of the Georgia World Congress Center. I just spent $18,000.
But you get it for a lifetime.
What?
Forever and ever and ever.
No. Like what? What if I die? Like that
was morbid.
That is morbid. I'm just saying, like, what? Like, that's insane. So what I'm really trying to say is, if the intentionality is to really teach people financial literacy and promote healthy habits of spending, of investing, $18,000 is insane. Is that aligned with the mission of what EYL is? Like,
well, I don't think so. I mean, one, if this was for, and maybe it is, and maybe I just don't understand, and correct me if I'm wrong. However, if this is for teaching people to help them get investors, to help get your business further than where it is, then why would you tell? It's more like I invested in Earn Your Leisure than I did in myself. Or, you know, in yourself, like, especially if you're just starting out, because I think the last panel that we went to with David Shands, like, this was like, I'm teaching you how. If you haven't started your podcast, start it now. So, you know, obviously it was for people who have not started the business yet. You know, a portion of it was for people who had not, like, I'm struggling to get it started. You know, I don't know where I'm at. Let me figure it out. Let me go here around some like-minded people and, like, you know, change my thought. Maybe I'm in a, you know, 9 to 5 and I want to get out of it. Like, go to this and get some inspiration. So I really do feel like it is for everybody. But, you know, it's just like, you have to be open to it. But I don't think that all those prices made you feel like this was super valuable and like it was completely worth it. And I can give my perspective on a different end of it.
Yeah. $18,000. I better be up on the stage with Steve Harvey and Robert Smith. I'm sorry. $18,000?
Nope. You're not going to be. Yeah.
I'm yeah. Like, what? No, and I guess that's frustrating for me, is like people, I don't know everybody's, like, obviously I don't know everyone's income, right? Like, if you could afford a ticket, then that was great. But maybe $300 was a stretch for people, right?
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Like, everybody doesn't have the same income. Like, not everybody's making money. And so, I mean, and I know, like, look, I'm not out here trying to offend people and get on people's bad side, but, like, I was going to be like, oh, let me go and buy a sweatshirt. What?
How much was a sweatshirt?
$210 for an Earn Your Leisure sweatshirt. Oh, it's a limited time. It's a limited edition. I don't give a bleep. I do not care. I do not care. $210. You're gonna charge me $210. I just spent $300 on a ticket. Mm-hmm. No, I'm like, yeah, that's insane. That's crazy. That's
especially
crazy.
When you're the one who putting it on and, you know, obviously making somewhat of a profit from the event. So that seemed to be a little bit of a money grab, because it was just like coffee mugs and water bottles and t-shirts and stuff, which is, you know, great. Promote your stuff and have all of the things that go along with it.
I'm not saying to not promote your brand. Of course, like, you wouldn't be here if you weren't promoting your brand all the time. That's part of, like, your business strategy, is make sure that you have stuff out so people can see it, they can grab it, they can buy it, they can, you know, they can feel it, they touch it, like, they can use it, and they know, and they're familiar with what your branding looks like. But $210, I'm sorry, this is not a Balenciaga sweatshirt, like.
But it is I guess in a way it's to say, hey, like, branding is everything, marketing isn't everything. And if you can get your brand into everybody's hands, it starts to become a household name. So, like, I get it I personally, I wouldn't spend on $200 on anybody's sweatshirt. I don't care whose it is. But that's just me. Like, that's just how I roll. I'm not spending that kind of money. Like, a sweatshirt's a sweatshirt. It all does the same thing. It doesn't matter what it has on it. But I get it. Those prices, your prices. But I think especially for the company that was putting it on, like, that might have been a little excessive, especially when people are already, just spending a lot of money. You're spending a lot of, you're there, you're going through the vendor's exhibit, and you're, everyone probably purchased at least one thing for one vendor. Hell, I know I purchased about 7 things.
Yeah.
So, and I think the pro to the Invest Fest is, all the vendors that were there. I got to meet so many different Black businesses, and really just to be in a whole huge room full of people who have their own business is, something to applaud.
Oh, wait, I'm not done yet. I'm not done. Like, I know we want to go. We're going to go into the pros. But, like, another thing that I want to touch base on is that, like, I wish that there were more breakout sessions, right? Like, prime example is that if I wanted to wait to listen to stuff about podcasts, now David Chan's, like, the Social Proof, I had not heard about him until, like, I had heard of the Social Proof podcast, but not really, like, I'd never seen him before, never heard him speak. It was probably one of the best, like, sessions for me personally, only because, like, that obviously it's stuff that I wanted to learn, I wanted to hear about, but he also, what he did, he had actionable steps. He gave you step by step. Hey, you need to get this kind of camera, right? Hey, you need to get this kind of mic. Hey, you need to get, this is what I'm using. It's like broke it down into things that are like actionable items that I'm like, oh, I can go and do this. I don't care about listening to P. Diddy is not relatable to me. He, like, his measure of success is not my measure of success. And I'm more than likely never going to be on his level. I'm not going to be a Diddy. I'm never going to be a Diddy. Like, that's just not, so, like, he is, having him on stage, it was almost kind of like, it was like all about celebrities, like, and how, like, it was I felt like very celebrity focused. And I'm not the only person who felt like that. I had some people who reached out to me on Instagram, and they shared their comments as well of, like, how they thought, what they thought. But I really felt like there was opportunity for, like, if I wanted to learn just about real estate, earn your leisure, find the top, like, 10 best real estate agents, whether it's in industrial, like commercial, residential real estate, put all those people in a room. Hey, all of this is in gallery B or whatever. So if I don't have to waste my time sitting through something about AI and Bitcoin that I don't care two craps about, right? I'm here for real estate. Like, that's kind of investing that I'm interested in. So let's make sure we have workshops and breakout rooms and smaller fireside chats where those people who are really interested in that particular category can make sure that they can go and listen to what has to be said for their interest, for whatever business they're in, right? Because It's like, if I'm sitting here and I'm like, man, I got to wait until 5:30 on Sunday to listen to, what I really am here for, then it's like, the rest of the hours are kind of just taken up by, like, me not really getting anything out of it. Right. And so, like, that's, I feel like, was the biggest thing for me. It was like, where can you sign up to be like, and I didn't see it because you said somebody had mentioned about, like, there was like you could sign up for workshops, but I didn't see that when I bought my ticket.
Yeah, and maybe it's just because the sign up was late, but I did hear, and I was just listening on Fanbase. It's another Black-owned app, so go check it out. Fanbase. Someone was in a room, and he had said that he had paid like an additional $100 per day to do like a one-on-one session. Again, that's just me hearing that. I didn't see that, and I didn't see like people going into certain rooms. Also, did not have a VIP ticket, so maybe that was in the VIP area. So I'll touch on that too. I was in an additional meeting, or it was a meeting, Monday marketing meeting. Nick Love hosts his Monday marketing meeting on Fanbase every Monday, so go check that out. Also, but in there this morning, someone had mentioned that, like, they were a host. They were one of the speakers on one of the days, and like everyone was kind of also sharing like their feedback on like their experience. And this person had a like completely 100% total different experience that we had. But also you're one of the speakers,
right.
A panelist on there, and you're known. And then, but you're like, it was amazing for me because I was in the back and I met Michael, and I met Robert, and I met this person, I met this person, I connected with this person, and it was a huge room in the VIP area and all these people, and I got to connect with them.
Okay, sorry. Well, you're one of like 20,000 other people that did not be able to have that same experience.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. Like, there's always going to be different sides to how people take away from an event. But I would say that probably 18,000 people, did not get that experience. So right. The majority of people who did come to the event, who did pay, a general admission ticket, or, maybe just an $800 ticket or whatever that one was, did not get the experience. They got the experience of seeing Robert Smith from, 70 rows back,
right.
But they didn't get the experience of being in the back and shaking hands with Robert, or with Michael, or all these people, Cindy Woods,
mm-hmm.
and get to experience that. So it's just like, I get it. And if I had that experience, I would probably be sitting here on this couch and be like, shh, bitch, I had a great time. Like, I got to meet all these people.
Right.
I have a meeting with Diddy. I got a meeting with this person. I ate
good.
And I ate good, and I didn't even step outside not one time. So, like, right. I get it. And, maybe that's the luxury of having, a lot of money, or having a really successful business that you're in your 4th, 5th year, or what have you. So it's just like, I think people have to also understand. I can understand that you had a different experience and you had an amazing experience, and I'm glad. I'm happy for you. And I'm not, not hating at all. I'm hoping to get to that level to where I can experience the same thing. But when you have an event like this, know that majority of your people are not going to have that experience. They're going to have this experience. They're going to have the experience of long lines and not really feeling like you got the value for the money that you spent. Or a lot of these people flew in. Every time I talked to someone to my left or to my right, flew in, stayed in a hotel. Was not from here. A lot of the vendors were not from here.
Right.
So it's just like, you're already invested in buying a plane ticket, or driving down and renting a car, and staying at a hotel or Airbnb. So like, you've already invested that, and then you bought your ticket too. So it's just like, you did a lot more than some of the people here in Atlanta, because a lot of the people who did come here or either came on a private jet or
right.
or lived here. So didn't have to put up that much of much of an expense as the people who traveled across the country, or I heard someone that came over from Africa to be there. So people from Canada,
from Haiti.
From Haiti. Like, people came a long ways, and maybe if I'm going to spend $1,500 to fly, and another, $800-900 to stay at a hotel, and plus a $300 ticket. Like, we've already invested so much. So I think it's always going to be different perspectives brought into it. And even this morning when I was on that meeting, there was other people gave their perspective on like how they felt or what they got from it. And most of the people that spoke, one was a speaker, other person was a host, and the three other people were vendors. And all the vendors were like, oh, this is the most amazing experience in my life. Like, I made so many connections. I got this. I'm going to meet with this person.
And I bet they made hella money too. Like, like people were buying things up, and which I loved to see. We're going to jump into all the pros here in a second, but you had a different experience because you were integrally a part of the fabric of that event, right? Like, you were a vendor, you were a host, you were a speaker. So you were basically invested in it.
Right.
And so your experience is way different. Before the mass majority of the people who attended the event, right? Like, completely wildly different experience, because
Definitely.
it's like, am I walking away? Granted, I'm like, okay, I walk away feeling good. I'm like, yeah, it's amazing. But can the takeaways, what's the efficacy of making sure that what I learned today, I'm actually going to be able to put into action? And I think that that's like the biggest thing.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And again, our takeaway, I think, is probably similar. Like, one, definitely, I didn't know much about Robert Smith at all, but I liked hearing about his journey. And then, I definitely appreciated David Shands and Donnie. I think I subscribed while I was there to their podcast, and that was just beneficial because obviously that's what we're doing. So, from a customer end, there's always ways for improvement. Like you said, like breakout rooms, smaller sessions. Hey, like once I registered, then I can do this breakdown list. I'll give you a perspective from my end. I was in the medical field, before I went into tech, and I went to a conference. I went to EMR, Electronic Medical Record Conference in San Antonio, and it was 3 days. Stayed at a hotel. Day one, we got there. We went to where the conference was going to be held, and we had kind of like an evening of excuse me, of registration. I got my card. I think it was like a little name tag, and name tags would have been good.
Right.
Name tag and business. And wrote it. Obviously, I did it when I registered online, but I got it. I got my wristband, so I was set for the weekend. Enjoyed, have drinks, and I think they did that on Friday to a certain extent. And then when the rest of the time, I knew what I did at my office. I did like most of the back office things. I was really into computers. I knew how to fix everything. I knew how to set up stuff, new equipment. So I did all that stuff. So at the time of the registration, when I got my ticket, I went through everything that was going to be held that entire 3 days. And I said, I want to attend, this is all online. I wanted to attend this one. This one's about the computers. This is about the new software. This is about this new thing. This is about this, and this. So I registered for all those ones. And so when I got there, I was registered for it. So when the event started, my thing was already planned out. So I went to room B for this. And then it was the group of us in there who wanted to learn about that. There was no point in me going to the physicians and doctors or surgeons room because I'm not a doctor.
And that's my point.
I went to the ones that were more about the things that I was interested in, things that I was going to use, and then break out. Once we came out of that room, there was food and snacks and waters and, things to let me grab some water. Let me grab some drinks. Let me grab some chips real quick, eat this or chill out, meet some people, make my way to my next room. Yeah. All the rooms closed. Everybody was where they were supposed to be. You got to intently listen, ask questions to the speaker, to the host, or however, who is demonstrating whatever it is that it was. And then, take your notes, come out, go to your next room. It was and again, I'm sure there's a lot of conferences but I think that this one could have used some of that a little bit to their event, just to make it so you feel like you're getting a lot of value. It had exhibitors hall too. There's plenty of, people that there wanting to sell the new EMR, the new machine or new stethoscopes and things like that to doctors, and hey, put this in your office. So there's a huge thing like that. So it was just it was just a lot more organized and didn't feel overwhelmed. But I also walked away with man, I can't wait to get back to the office so I can apply all this stuff. Or wait, I know how to check in a patient quicker if we do it like this.
Right.
So it was very useful. And I think that that's a kind of an aspect of it that wasn't included in this event that definitely could be used. And hey, earn your leisure. We have a lot of experience in those things too. Super organized people, women might want to bring on a little diversity.
Holla at your girls if you want to, use us for your next event for strategic planning. We are available. So yeah, just want to let you know.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, this is not hey, this is our takeaway. This is our personal opinion of how we felt, just as a person as general mission, experienced the event, not the person as a VIP, not the person, as a vendor, as part of the event, someone who's just, came in and experienced it for what it was.
Because I would say more than 70% of the people who are buying tickets are going to be general admission, right? Like the majority of the people who are buying tickets are not buying VIP tickets. They're not buying a lifetime membership. They're not, they're not doing that. They want to get in, they want to get the information, and that's it. They're not there for all the hoopla and everything else like that. If that is added in, then that's great. They have a great time. Also, another one thing that I kind of wanted to bring up too was that, like when you were talking about how when you went to that medical event, you were in that room specifically for those kind of events. And then when you kind of came out, you went to the next room. But like, even if InvestFest had that, like in between, maybe like this is the networking room for real estate agents. This is a networking room for, people who are heavily into Bitcoin and stuff like that, where it's like, because there was a lot of probably wasted opportunity of being able to find people who are in your same kind of, industry, because like you said, we didn't have nobody's name tags, right? We didn't really, you kind of had to guess, and it really takes up time to be able to kind of get to know people and have that conversation. So if you already have like those networking pods, right? Like those rooms of where like, hey, we're going to have like a 15, 20 minute, maybe 30-minute networking session where like, hey, just go in, talk to us. But that everybody in this room is in real estate, is interested in like, Web3 or whatever the case may be, insurance, whether it's health or whatever, but is really intentional. And I think that allows for people who are buying those tickets to say, you know what, like I didn't have to meet a celebrity tonight or today, to walk away feeling like I got something. I met people who are really doing the work, who can actually teach me, like show me a framework. And then like, I can go away, and that's like I can go away from this event knowing that like I met some great people that are in the city that if you live here, or maybe pick 10 states. Hey, these are the top 10 states for real estate. We picked out the best people from those 10 states and brought them here.
Yeah, definitely. I'm actually glad I said name tags, because I think in one of the rooms they were like, hey, if you know how to do graphic design, raise your hand. And like you're raising your hand with like 10,000 other people in the room. They're like, all right, get with one of those people. Ma'am, all I saw was a hand. How am I supposed to see who that was and get all the way across the other side of the room to see that person? Like, passing someone in the hallway. Oh, you do that? Oh, your name is this, or blah, blah, blah. Like that would have been a lot more helpful than just like walking in the room. Hi, my name is Tiffany, and what do you do? Like, yes, that is a way to meet people for sure. But you could also waste a lot of time when you know that the room is filled with thousands of people who do, hundreds of thousands of other things. Right. So it's just like,
what did that guy say when we were, he was finishing up one of the panels, and he was like, I want you to go out and talk to 1,000 people. Like,
that was a little unrealistic. I mean, it could have happened, but it was the last day. So
like today on Sunday, I'm going to talk to 1,000 people. Like, come on. It was just like, and some of it felt a little preachy, but I'm going to leave it at that. I think we've gave our feedback, our constructive feedback. And like I said, all of these things are changeable. Like I would like to see, I bought an InvestFest ticket because one, I want to support. Two, like I wanted to see what I could get out of it, and I want to go back next year. I want to see them. I want to see something like this succeed, but I think it all comes with intentionality. Like, what is your intention? Is it still mission aligned of like what you kind of started out doing and why you're doing it? And I think that that's like the most important thing, is like making sure that like, if you're going to be taking people's money, make sure that it's worth their while. Right.
But not everyone's going to find value in it, but you have to make sure that the majority of people who attend your events, that they want to come back next year and more. So, you know, again, there's always going to be fall off, but I think that if you want something to continue for a long time, you have to continue to show value in your product.
Right.
You know, as a consumer, as a customer, you're not going to continue to go to your doctor's office or go to a restaurant if it's like it gets worse and worse each year, you know, like I'll just find somewhere else. I'll just go somewhere else, you know, and things like that. So it's just like you have to, you know, if you are, which I 100% believe that they are serious about it, like, hey, we'll make those changes. We'll, you know, there's ways to improve for sure and move on to next year. Like I definitely would want to go back and support and see that, because want to support Black businesses all the time.
Yeah, for sure. And another thing that I want to, like we can go ahead and touch back on the positive notes, right? Like I think one of the most positive things, like for me, was the expo downstairs, right? Like the expo, I felt like was like a super great opportunity for us to be able to support, most importantly, Black owned businesses. I thought that like that was the most, I don't know, like being able to see so many people living out their dreams was like, for me, like just like it's impactful being able to see like, oh man, you started from an idea and now you're here at InvestFest. You're having thousands of people walk through this expo hall and be able to buy your product, try your product, see it, feel it. And I feel like, you know, it takes work to get to there. So for me, like I love being able to see things that like, oh, I really wouldn't buy that, but like maybe I know somebody else who would really like that. Or, you know, I didn't see anything at this stand, but let me go over to this stand because I definitely saw, like, I thought this was really, really cool. And like being able to support those Black businesses was probably my favorite. I saw so many cool things. And I know at the end of this is going to be a little bit of a longer podcast, but at the end of our, you know, show today, we're going to just kind of highlight some of the brands that we kind of came across. But that was probably one of my favorite things. The panel with Eastside Golf, listening to them.
Shout out to Eastside Golf.
Yes, Eastside Golf. Like that was really cool listening to them. I've heard and listened to Chris Lyons before at an Afrotech event out in Miami. He always great guy, extremely, extremely smart. And he doesn't talk above your head, right? Like him being so ridiculously smart, he doesn't make you feel dumb when you're listening to him. And so he's a really great speaker. So that was really great to be able to listen to him. And then I feel like the best one, even though I loved Robert Smith, like I was super excited to see him because I had never heard him speak. The David Shands like portion
and Donnie
and Donnie, like, man, like shout out to both of them because that was like,
yeah, hands down, probably the best one for sure.
That was the best panel. Like I loved that. And it was just so, like I said, it was just very actionary. Like, you're going to do this. This is what I use. This is what I use. And I was like, dang, like, yes, this is exactly what I was looking for the entire time.
Right. Yeah, I completely agree with all of that. Especially the vendors. I actually have on one of the shirts that I purchased today. It says rooting for everybody Black. This is by Black is Love. So shout out to Black is Love. Shout out to, who else did I purchase? Like I said, I purchased quite a bit because I was just like, I want to support everybody. Was Black Coffee, avid coffee drinker. So I'm going to be trying out their coffee. So shout out to Black Coffee. Bought 2 bags of coffee from them.
Aware Brand.
Yes.
Shout out to Drew.
Hey, Drew. Bought a shirt.
We're going to have Drew in the podcast.
Yeah, definitely. Going to have next season, we're going to have quite a few guests, and I think Drew's going to be our first one.
Yep. And then so we got to chat with Multiple Hustles.
Oh yeah, Multiple Hustles.
That was really fun. So there wasn't anything that we bought from them, but we did like a whole little shout out and like video with them.
I'm going to try to have him on to the podcast too.
Yep. And then our nails.
Oh
yes. Yeah. I got this card. So we bought quite a bit of like the little press on nails that I'm super excited to do them.
I'm just ready for these to come off so I can go ahead and put them on.
Yeah. Pretty pressed.
Pretty impressed.
So shout out to her. I really liked her because she was so personable and like just like, hey, I am here. I'm gonna tell you everything that you need to know, all that good stuff. So really, really liked her.
Yeah, I think that she was like our first one that we went to, and like I really liked it. So please connect with her. Pretty impressed.
What's her Instagram?
It is I don't see it on here.
We'll find it and tag it on the thing.
Pretty impressed at yahoo.com if you want to contact her. But yeah.
Yes. High Frequency Tea, got that. So I've been seeing her and I was like, man, I was kind of like, I need to go and buy some of her stuff. She does like herbal extracts, women's wellness, men's wellness, skincare, children's wellness. So I bought some tea from her. And then I really got a really, really cool shirt from, Black is Love. I love that shirt. I got so many compliments.
Oh yeah, definitely directed a lot of people. Gosh. I think they sold out after that.
Yeah. I mean, I love that shirt. I'm going to wear the shit out.
Yeah. I had to go back the next day after she wore it and buy one. They're like, oh, we're almost sold out. I'm like, definitely had to buy it. So.
Yeah. And then what else did we buy? I feel like we bought some more things and I can't remember, but those were some of the ones that really kind of stuck out to us. Oh, you got that charger.
Oh, yes. Okay. During the event, taking pictures and, trying to take down notes and stuff on the things that I did find helpful. My phone died. So after we went to go see Drew at the Aware brand, right next to him was a charging station. And once I go through my stuff, I'll put it in, into the comments below. But they were able to give me like a portable charger. I purchased a portable charger, Black owned. Again, everything here is Black owned, so they were able to give me one and it was already 100% charged and I could go ahead and charge my phone. And by the time I left, my phone's back at 100%. So big shout out to them. Thank you so much.
Yes.
As soon as I, find it, I will shout you guys out.
Yeah. Oh, and then you got that really cute Little Mermaid book.
Oh yes, a mermaid book.
She really did buy it.
I did.
She was going through all the aisles.
And we got some oils.
Oh, we got some oils.
You can't not leave a Black event without getting oils and soap. So you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So we got some of those oils too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we like really shopped it up. I did most of my shopping on Saturday, and I was like, by the time I was leaving, I was like, yeah, I'm not bringing my wallet back the next day. It's not happening. Yeah. But like, I feel like that definitely being able to support all the small, Black owned businesses, and just kind of, just for me, like networking and talking to them and listening to their story and how they got there, was like my favorite part. So not to say that there weren't a lot of great panels. I think that there's some things, like some major takeaways, and there's a lot of pluses too. Like there's a lot of things that, people made connections,
and networking,
like,
being in a room with other people from, across the world and who you normally wouldn't have met, like, is always a great opportunity. So just being there and being around folks, seeing what they're doing and even just to get inspired to get out of your 9-to-5 and maybe stop dealing with whack customers.
Right. Right.
And do something for yourself, because I feel like times are changing to where now it's like you got to work for yourself, or like Chris was saying, like you got to kind of get ahead of time and like go into AI. Like before you know it, AI is starting to take over everything, and they're gonna need people who are controlling the AI. So,
yeah. Or what did Robert say? What did Robert say? Being on the other side of the equation.
Oh yeah, are you on the right side of the equation? You got to think about that.
Right. So that's going to wrap it up. I think we talked enough about it, but we said our piece. Like, it is what it is. I will go back and support. But I do definitely want to make sure that like some of those things are addressed. And I hope that they do take the feedback that they have gotten. I think that they will. but they take the feedback that they have gotten so far in regards to some of the things that their consumers, their customers want to see the next time around. So
definitely.
All right. Episodes 7 is a wrap.
It's a wrap. So please like, subscribe, follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, all of that. And we will see you all next week.
All right.
Bye.
1, 2.